Hello. Sorry, I just want to pin the book that I'm reading. How are you? Okay. This is the first volume. Hi, Miss Nebe. Volume 1. Okay. Pin. Done. I'm reading from this anthology. It's the Gerald Kraak Anthology. There's 3 volumes. I was going to be reading a story every week from each of the volumes, because these are the other ones. This one and this one. So this one was volume 2 and this one is the first one. So the story I'm going to be reading from is hello. I'm going to read the story that won this first one. It's called Poached Eggs by Farah Ahamed. I'm going to read the back of the book as well, and then I'll continue because there's a lot of entries in here. I think they do an annual call for submission, and then they choose a winner. So this person, Farah Ahamed, actually won. It was a joint win. And this is actually a joint initiative between the Other Foundation and Jacana Literary Foundation. So hello. I'm gonna read the back of the book first, and then I will start with this story. It's called Poached Eggs. Okay. Filled with brave, stirring, and multi-layered works of fiction, poetry, journalism, academic writing, and photography from across the African continent, this anthology offers new perspectives on what it means to be marginalized, forgotten, and stripped of one's humanity. Pride and Prejudice is a collection of the short-listed entries to the inaugural award named after Gerald Kraak, born 1956 and passed on in 2014, who was a passionate champion of social justice and an anti-apartheid activist. These stories are a badge of honor for those who work tirelessly to keep hope alive by working towards lasting change, and for those who continue to love in spite of the fear. The Gerald Kraak Award is a joint initiative between the Other Foundation and the Jacana Literary Foundation. Hi, Tlochi. Tlochi says he loves this anthology. Awesome. I love it too. So I actually love all the covers that they choose. And these are actually entries into, I don't know if you can see that. I love that picture. I think it was taken in downtown Joburg. I don't know if you can see the back of the picture of the subject. There's a building. Love it. And this one has the one with the Joburg background. I love it. But this one, I actually got this one at Love Books, I think 2 years ago for their birthday sale. Yo, the way I was happy. Oh, okay, you like kink. So I'm going to start reading from Poached Eggs, which was a joint winner for the inaugural one. Marry me, Nuru, Jafar said in his precise, measured tone, and together we'll build our future in this new independent republic. He was standing behind Nubaru's typewriter, and she was sitting at her desk at the chambers where she worked. She'd met him several months earlier when he'd come in to meet one of the lawyers, and they'd struck up a friendship. Nuru had a pitman's secretarial diploma and a driver's license from the First Lady's driving school in Nairobi. With her natural beauty and qualifications, she felt she deserved the care of a man who would cherish her. Jaffer was a successful, self-made businessman. He was short, dark, and stocky, and less educated than Nuru, but she accepted his proposal because he was someone who appreciated her. Why else would he speak about her and Kenyan politics in the same sentence? The night they returned to Nairobi from the honeymoon in Mombasa, Nuru lay next to Jaffer in their new double bed. He in striped grey and white pajamas, and she in a floral nightie. She touched his shoulder. His back was to her. Jaffer, "Good night, hun." "Good night," Nuru said. "I'm meeting key officials in government tomorrow. I need my sleep." He switched off the bedside lamp and pulled the bedclothes over his head. Nuru thought of her new garden. The red hibiscus, pink bougainvillea, and purple jacaranda were in full bloom. Tomorrow she'd lie under the jacaranda and look up at the sky through the leaves and branches. Unlimited possibilities lay ahead. She fell asleep listening to Jaffar's snores, dreaming she was driving a white Morris around Nairobi. Her arm was resting on the open window, and she was wearing fashionable dark glasses and an elegant scarf. Jaffer employed Maria and Jacob to help Nuru with the household chores and garden. This left her with plenty of free time. After a month, she said, "I'd like to go back to working at Mr. Seth's chambers." "You can't do that, Nuru," Jaffer said, standing in the middle of the doorway, his hand on the doorknob. "People will say I can't afford to take care of you." "But Mr. Seth's ringing me today to confirm my start date." "Then tell him I said the wives of prosperous men don't work." He looked at his watch. "I'm late, Nuru. There are important people waiting to see me." She proffered her cheek, but he ran down the steps and drove off without a wave. Nuru opened her wardrobe. She put on the clothes she used to wear to work, her court shoes, navy blue skirt, and white blouse. She went from room to room, feeling the different textures of the furniture, smooth, rough, coarse, and grainy. Jaffer had arranged for the fixtures, beds, chairs, tables, stools, sofas, and armchairs, to come before she'd moved in. Every bedroom had its own color scheme: pink and green, lime and yellow, blue and gray. She, too, was an object chosen by him. Yo! I have a problem with men like Jaffer who think that women don't belong at work, and yes, a woman can decide to not work and it's her choice, but don't be on some no, because I'm successful, you must stay home, like F the patriarchy. She fitted into the design and layout. The bedroom window overlooked the garden with trim hedges, and even lawn and bushes pruned into geometric shapes. Jacob was sweeping the fallen flowers from under the jacaranda. "Please let them be," she called out. "I like the purple carpet." "No, Mama," said Jacob said. Bwana Kubwa, our master, doesn't like anything out of its place." You see, like he's such a measured, everything is chosen by him, everything is like you know? Anyway, Jaffa arrived home early. Nuru was lying on the bed with a migraine. He took off his jacket and hung it on a chair. Today I accomplished everything I intended ahead of time, he said, loosening his braces. It's all about proper management. He pulled off the metal shirt sleeve holders. What about you, Nuru? What did you do today? He asked, removing his tie. The usual. You have a headache, Nuru, because you're not organized. He took a stack of papers from his briefcase. A list of things to do, he said, pointing to the first page. Prepare Jaffa's breakfast. Supervise Maria and Jacob. Take siesta. Make dinner. Talk to Jaffa. Sleep. I see, Nuru said, turning the page. 10 carrots, 4 onions, 10 tomatoes, 4 loaves of sliced white bread, 1 chicken, 2 pieces of tilapia fish, 6 cartons of milk, 7 apples, 14 eggs. What if we need other things? You'll tell me and I'll prepare an additional list. How can you be sure we'll need only 14 eggs? I'll have 2 every morning, but you won't be eating any, Nuru, because they give women health problems. I didn't know that. This is your budget for the week, Jaffa said. 200 shillings for vegetables, 200 for fruit, 200 for the bakers, 200 for the butchers, 200 for groceries. But these things don't all cost the same. True, but you'll bargain in the market. Every shilling counts. She looked at the next page. A menu for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Yes, for breakfast on Mondays I'll have an omelette, scrambled eggs on Tuesday, boiled on Wednesdays, poached on Thursdays, and fried on Fridays. At the weekend, I'll tell you the previous night for spontaneity. How, guys, this guy. He took the papers from her and smoothed out the creases. Then he showed her a red binder with a neat label. Nuru's duties. These are important reference documents, he said, arranging the contents inside. Keep them safe. He put the file on the bureau. Ring my mother and get the recipes of my favorite foods. Follow exactly what she says and put her instructions in the file. And here's a calendar for you, too. What's this for? She said. On the days marked with a red cross, you won't be sleeping here with me. You'll be in the pink and green room. I don't like it when you're unclean. He unhooked his braces, put them on the dresser, and then sat down on the armchair near the wardrobe. He pulled off his socks, rolled them in a ball, and put them in the laundry basket. Then he took off his shirt, folded it neatly, and placed it in the hamper. He removed his wallet from his trouser pocket and pulled out some notes. After counting, squaring, and smoothing them down, he put them back. He undid his trousers, shook them out, doubled them, and put them in the basket. Nuru, he said, make sure Maria irons my clothes properly. He came and stood near the bed, wearing only his shorts and a white ribbed cotton vest, and smiled down at Nuru. He'd grown a belly in recent weeks, and his shoulders were beginning to curve. He'd have a stoop and a big pouch overhanging those skinny, hairless legs when he was older. You're a lucky woman, Nuru. Hey, guys. He tucked his vest into his shorts and pulled them higher around his waist. I'm always one step ahead. You've forgotten nothing, she said, getting out of bed. They were the same height, and she looked him straight in the eye. He was graying at the temples and his hairline was receding. There's one more rule, he said. A final, important, unwritten one. It's quite simple. I like the same thing no matter which day of the week. He pushed her gently back onto the bed. She imagined the mauve jacarandas falling on her. She'd heard it brought good luck. Nuru turned the pages of the newspaper Jafar had given her. You can read the Daily Nation once a week, he said, but treat it with respect. I have to return it to the office. Nuru studied the paper. It says all voters should be registered. When can we do that? I'll keep you informed, he said. Please be gentler when you turn the pages. You're bending the edges. There's excitement about the elections. I'd like to vote. You don't need to worry about it, Nuru, he said, taking the paper from her. We're one and the same, you and I. You can't say that. We're different people. Not anymore. You're part of me. But it's one person, one vote. Never mind what it says. You're my wife. We are one unit. He folded the paper under his arm, and I've been thinking, from now on, no more English. I don't understand, she said. Do you mean in Kenya? No, in this house. English is the English is the language of our oppressors, and we are an independent nation now. What are we to speak then? Gurati, and only that. But I think in English. You can think in whatever language you like, Nuru, but you and I will speak Gurati. You'll just have to get used to it. What purpose will that serve? Speaking in our mother tongue will make our bond stronger, he said. And whenever I get some spare time, I'll teach you new Gurati words. Our language is full of nuances. Take the word you, for instance. It can be used respectfully or informally. So in future, always use the respectful version when addressing me. This guy has so many rules. Like, I don't understand, why is this woman here? Okay, but she's married to him. Okay. Could you buy me a car? Noor asked one evening while they were eating dinner. She put her driver's license on the table next to him. I paid for the lessons myself. I'll take you wherever you need to go. He mashed the rice, potatoes, and curry on his plate with his fingers. Nothing beats my mother's cooking. You ought to learn from her. Then you should be married to your mother. Nuru moved the rice around the plate with her fork. News Hour was on the radio. After a roundup of the day's events, the newscaster reminded listeners that Kenya would soon be having its first election as an independent nation. KANU's going to win, Jaffer said. You can't be so certain. Opposition parties like KADU also have support. No, Mzee Jomo is not about to let any minority group challenge his party. We're a one-party state and Kenyatta has the ruling mandate. The elections are just a confirmation of his power. He swiped the edge of his plate with his chubby forefinger and licked it. Like me, Kenyatta believes in centralized authority to keep people in line. Imagine your wife has to be kept in line. Like this man. Nuru went to the kitchen and scraped her dinner into the bin. Is that my mother's cooking you're wasting? Jaffer said, coming to stand next to her. I've lost my appetite. You're beginning to look thin, Nuru. People will say you're unhappy. Make an effort to eat a little extra at every meal. And if it's my mother's cooking, finish every grain. He belched. Can you fetch me something for indigestion? I think I've overeaten. My friend Dr. Stokely was giving these away because he's returning to Britain, Jaffer said, placing several thick volumes and booklets on the coffee table. Radiant Health, Encyclopedia of Diseases, Reader's Digest, and a book of Kenyan roadmaps. He remembered meeting you at our wedding and you saying you enjoyed reading. Yes, I recall that conversation. I told him married life keeps you busy and you don't have time to read now, but he insisted. There are more in the car. Nuru went through the books and arranged them in piles, dividing them by subject. Don't waste your time, Nuru, Jaffa said. Just display them on the shelf according to height. That's how they look best. And don't leave them lying around the house. Aside from the ones relating to health and Kenyan geography, there was a Bible and several empty notebooks. Nuru decided to use one as a journal. In the afternoons, she'd spend a few hours writing, and then she would lie under the muslin net draped over the bed and watch the wiring ceiling fan. Sometimes a mosquito landed on the mesh and scratched at the fabric trying to get in. She would watch it until it flew off and feel suffocated. Nuru watched Jaffa spoon the egg into his mouth and wipe the dribble from his lips. This is a few seconds too soft, Nuru. The newscaster on the radio was talking about the elections. Jaffa turned it off. You aren't listening to me. Sorry, what did you say? My eggs should be boiled for 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Who was at the Freemasons meeting last night? I've taken an oath, so I can't tell you. They're men of my caliber and tastes. What are they saying about the elections? Nothing you'd understand, Nuru. I was up half the night waiting for you. Where were you? There are important new opportunities I'm exploring. What are they? For God's sake, Nuru, I wish you wouldn't bother me with your questions. I know what I'm doing, and it's high time you did too. Make sure my eggs are done exactly right tomorrow. Hey, imagine, how many minutes is that? You guys, imagine 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Few seconds too soft. Wow. Miss Weiner, hey. Miss Weiner says, I love Nuru's passive resistance. Like, I'm actually, I've already chosen that I hate this guy, like Jafar. Even his name is horrible. Nuru found the newspaper Jafar had forgotten to take to work, lying on the kitchen counter. She turned to the letters section and copied down the postal address at the bottom of the page. Okay, so there's a letter here addressed to the Daily Nation, Nairobi, 27 March 1963. Dear Editor, on the eve of Kenya's first elections as an independent state, when women have an equal right to vote for the first time, it is important that women in the new republic know their limits in Kenyan society. I wonder if the Daily Nation would be interested in publishing a guide on how they should behave. If you think this is something that would appeal to your readership, I could send you one rule a week, including recipes and home remedies for common ailments, such as indigestion, which afflict men. I am enclosing a sample for your consideration. I look forward to hearing from you. Yours faithfully, Mrs. Nubaru Maljiani Enk. I don't know what that is. ENCO. Is it enclosed? Yeah, it's abbreviation for enclosed. Yes. Okay, so the enclosed letter or tip. Women, know your place. 1. If your husband tells a witty story, be sure to laugh. His jokes are always funny. Be fragile and sweet. These qualities will make you delightful and desirable. Number 2, never question your husband. He knows best. Be quick to admit you know less than him. Be plain and simple with your thoughts. Let your natural sweetness shine through. I love Nuru, guys. This guy, he is more controlling. Number 3, before your husband arrives home in the evening, make a hot or cool drink. Arrange a comfortable pillow in his armchair and wipe the tables. Change your dress, apply lipstick and dab on perfume. Soothe him with your delicate demeanor. Number 4, allow your husband to talk first. What he has to say is much more important than anything you can offer. Listen attentively and reassure him with a pleasing voice. Number 5, never discuss politics with your husband. Your foolish and dangerous thoughts will embarrass him and arouse his contempt. Appearing overeducated and expressing opinions will lead to stress and premature aging. Number 6. Mix 1 teaspoonful of Eno's fruit salts in half a glass of water if your husband has acidity or heartburn. His overindulgence is a measure of your prowess as a cook. When she'd finished writing, she put the letter and article in an envelope and asked Maria to take it to the post office. The next morning, Nuru was in the kitchen preparing Jaffar's breakfast. The window looked out onto the garden. She had a sudden longing to see unpruned bougainvillea bushes in deep orange and red, and sprawling morning glory creepers in white and purple. She took the tray of eggs from the fridge, stood staring at it, then picked up an egg and rolled it from one palm to the other, feeling its smooth, curved surface. She broke it into a cup, then did the same with a second egg, and with a fork whisked the yellow and white. Slowly she raised the frothy mixture, tipped it into her mouth, and swallowed. She wiped her lips with a tissue, went into the dining room and poured herself some tea. "Where are my poached eggs?" Jaffer said, sitting down at the head of the table. "It's Thursday." He tucked a starched napkin under his chin. "They slipped from my hands." He banged his fist on the table. "Don't let it happen again." "I'll try not to," she said. "If you like, I can use tomorrow's eggs and prepare them for you right away." "You'll do no such thing," he said, flinging off his napkin. "There are 2 eggs for each day, so leave it at that. Next time, treat them with care. They're very fragile." "I'd like to meet my friends sometime," Nuru said at breakfast a few days later. "Friends?" Jaffer asked. He applied a thick layer of butter to his toast. "Yes, and my family." "You're always meeting yours." "You don't need them, Nuru. They'll only gossip about us. My friends are different. They discuss important issues, such as the future of our country." "I've been thinking about that too. Kenya needs active citizens, and I think the time is right for us to make our contribution." "I couldn't agree more," she said. "Today's the day we'll vote." "Don't be stupid, Nuru. I'm talking about having children." He left the room and came back with the calendar. "I'll do my duty on the days marked with black stars. At the end of the month, we'll tally the score and record the number in the corner. That way, we'll monitor our progress." He sat down, putting the calendar next to her plate. "Now, Nuru, where are my eggs?" "What about voting?" "You know how to ruin a man's mood in the morning, don't you, Nuru? If you have nothing of interest to say, don't say it." He left the dining room, slamming the door behind him. She watched from the window as he drove off in his blue Anglia. Maria came in to clear the table. "Where's the nearest polling station, Maria?" "At the primary school in the market, Mama." Nuru walked with Maria to the market through the gillies of kiosks selling fruits and vegetables. A stray dog blocked their path and Maria shooed it away. A goat stood grazing on a clump of dry grass and chickens scuttled around. "Canoe special," a vendor called out, holding up a bunch of blemished bananas. "Not today," Nuru said. They stopped to watch an old woman with a kanga tied around her head, sitting on a low stool in front of a stove. She spooned boiled maize and beans from the pot onto a tin plate and served it to a man standing there. "Our great nation has space for only one party," he said in Kiswahili, taking the food from her, "and one man." "You're wrong," the woman said. "We need women in government, like Makumbi in Uganda and Lamek in Tanzania. Those are just rumors by Wakorofi, troublemakers. I heard it on the radio." "Don't believe everything you hear. Women should stick to gardening, cooking and bearing children. Shamba chakula na watoto. Leave the business of running the country to us men. It's only a matter of time. One day the women of my deleo wanawake will have power. The woman placed her things in her sisal basket and swung it over her back. A flag blows in the direction of the wind, she said, and the winds of change have begun. I like all the women in this story. A flag blows in the direction of the wind, she said, and the winds of change have begun. The following day, Nuru was in the dining room pouring Jaffar's tea. He came in and stood behind his chair. Jam, butter, toast, and tea, he said, enunciating each word, but no eggs. What's going on, Nuru? They were overcooked. I've thrown them in the bin. Jaffa thumped the back of the chair. Maria, he shouted. She appeared at the door. You're paid to help my wife in the kitchen. Can you explain this? Mimi sijui mzi, Maria said. Me, I don't know. I'm surrounded by ignorant and incompetent women. Mistakes happen sometimes, Nuru said. Not in my house, they don't. He walked out of the room, banging the door. A few minutes later, he was back. Nuru, Jacobs just told me you went to the market yesterday. Why did you go? It wasn't market day according to my schedule. To vote. Nuru, he shouted. Stop your meddling. Our country's politics is a delicate business. Don't interfere. Do you understand? Yeah, Batum, guys. That night, after Jaffa got into bed, Nuru went around tucking the mosquito net under the mattress. I don't like being defied, Nuru, he said from behind the mesh. It doesn't bode well for our future. He placed the Daily Nation on her pillow. Even Kenyatta faces no opposition now because Gadu has dissolved itself and merged with GANU. Nuru lifted the net on her side and settled down next to him. She turned the pages of the paper and stopped at the advertisement for a Morris. That's the car I want, the 2-door model. Let me see that, he said. More mini magic. What nonsense. You can't even handle eggs without an accident, never mind a steering wheel. Nuru sat on the sofa reading one of Dr. Stokely's books. She looked up when Jaffa came in. You're home early. You're the talk of the town, Nuru. Jaffa flung the newspaper down next to her. She picked it up. Picture my humiliation, he said, when John mentioned his wife had been praising your column in the Daily Nation. I wanted it to be a surprise. It was a bombshell. I had no idea what he was talking about. What did he say? He congratulated me for being the perfect husband. I didn't know what to say, so I told him I always did my best. He paused. When I got back to the office, I read your piece, but I'll tell you what really annoyed me. Yes? The title should be Know Your Place, according to Jaffa. I'll have a word with the editor tomorrow, she said. By the way, there'll be no eggs for the rest of the week. Nuru, are my ears deceiving me? I was preparing dinner, she said. A recipe from your mother. I had to remove the eggs from the fridge to reach something behind them. And I'm afraid I dropped the entire tray. Oh, guys. Like, I really love Nuru. Like, yo, guys, patriarchy must fall. So I like how the author, Ms. Weiner says, I like how the author highlights the ridiculousness of patriarchy in a relatable, humorous manner. Yeah, I stan. I really stan. So it is called Pride and Prejudice. Ms. Weiner says the title of the book is starting to make sense. Oh, so this is from the Gerald Kraak Anthology that I told you I was going to read from the, because there's 3 volumes. This is the third. Yeah, this is the third one. The Heart of the Matter is the third one. So I told you guys last week that I will read a story from each every week. So I'll rotate them. It's today Wednesday. So I said I was gonna read every Wednesday. I think last week I forgot to read one. But yes, this is from that. And this story that I read today is from Pride and Prejudice. This is available online on Loot, on Take a Lot. Hold on, I just wanna. So this is from. I got mine at Love Books, and the other ones I got them at Jacana for their book sale. So I'll read a story or poem from each, because there's different. Wait. Okay. So the second one is As You Like It. This is the cover. I love the cover. So this was one of the entries. So there's photography, there's poetry, there's short stories. But yes, guys, that was my reading for today. It is by, let me read her. This is, let me not even say, oh yeah, it's from Farah Ahamed. I'll read the back because there is, so this was a joint winner. Let me read the back of it so that you know who because they do the author profiles at the back as well. So Farah Ahamed is a short fiction writer. Her stories have been published in the Massachusetts Review, Thresholds, Kwani, The Missing Slate, and Out of Print, among others. She was highly commended in the 2016 London Short Story Prize and has been nominated for the Cannes, is it Cannes? Yeah, the Cannes and the Pushcart Prizes. She has been shortlisted for the SI Leeds Literary Prize, DNA Out of Print Award, Sunderland Waterstones Award, Asian Writer Short Story Prize, and Strands International Short Story. So she is like she's more into short stories. Yeah, short story fiction writer. So yes, guys, that was it. I love this collection because it also has pictures in between. Because remember I said there's photography as well in here. So this one, the cover is also a winner. So this, these are the pictures that she submitted for her entry, and she won. I love this one as well. I love her hair. It's lovely. I saw the books on Loot last night thanks to you posting about their sale. Oh, did you get some books? Like, I didn't buy anything. Yeah, I only have stuff in my wish list. But yeah, hello Asanda. I just finished reading. I enjoyed reading short stories. Jimmy, you know what, Jimmy? I also feel like I'm more of a short story person. Like, I can live without reading a long book, like a full-on, like, you know, I'm for short stories. So I think I'm really gravitating towards collecting more short stories. Miss Weiner says, please tweet the 3 books so I can check their reviews. Sure, I will. I will set up a picture. I'm not sure when, but I will. I promise. And so that was it, guys. It is 17:45. I read for 15 more minutes. I'll post these now, and then I will see you guys tomorrow. Today on the Chickinator, we're going to the Chickinatives at 6, right? I've cooked early today, so I'm happy about that. I don't have to worry about cooking with my headphones on. So I'm going to fully concentrate on the Chickinatives live. 10 books. I saw 10. That's the first thing I saw. Miss Vina says, I bought 10 books thanks to you. I bought Bomb Boy, so we're reading it in July. Oh my gosh, we're going to be reading so much, guys. Where are we going to get the time? We won't even sleep. So, great! 10 books. You must take pictures once they get there. Oh, awesome. So I'm waiting for my loot delivery. I bought Born Through Kwaito? Kanaki? Yeah, Blackbird books. It was on special. It was $50. So I got it for 50 Rand. Born in Kwaito. Yeah, and then I ordered Jamil's book. I'll post it when it comes. But yes, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Asanda, if you've missed, because you just came in, I was talking about these 3 books. They are part of the Gerald Kraak Anthology, African Perspectives on Gender, Social Justice and Sexuality. They're edited by Sisonke Msimang, I think. Yes. Yes, they are. Oh, she does the introductions. Yeah, she does the... Oh, no, she's one of the judges. Yeah. So, this is what I read from 2 weeks ago. I read Chike's book. This is what I read from today. Pride and Prejudice. This is the first one. And this one was the third one. And this is the second one. I love the covers. So the covers are also entries, and they're either winners or joint winners, or they're just part of the entries. But yes, if you want more information on them, you can go to jacana.co.za, because they are published by Jacana as part of a joint initiative between the other foundation and the Jacana Literary Foundation. I'll see you guys tomorrow. This is it. I'll put up a picture of this for you, Miss Weiner, and everybody else on the stories. Thank you, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. See you on the other side on the Chicken Natives at 6. Bye. Let me go back to loot. Always Uncle Loot. I think the book... let's chat. Bye.